Hey guys, welcome to Casual Cinema, where we give our casual perspective of films. We're your hosts, Jared and TJ, and today we'll be reviewing Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, which, honestly is my first, Transformers film that I've seen in a while.
Uh-huh.
And, just to give a quick glimpse of my reaction, I was very pleasantly surprised. You know, um, Usually when I think of Transformers films, honestly, to me, it's just explosions and robots and just highly sexualized girl
Yeah.
characters like that. But I just want to open it up to you. You're our Transformers fan here. What did you think about this movie?
I'm just gonna go like probably like a little bit of a long thing here. Not too long, but when I was a kid, I loved the Transformers movies just because, I was a 6, 7, 8 year old boy who just loved watching robots fight each other. Like that's just all it was. I had all the toys, I loved it was a pain in the like freaking like, ass trying to transform them into cars, because they'd be like in these robot form and you have to try to transform them back and it's like, nah, it's just rocket science. But I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but like it was a pain for sure. But
Mhm.
yeah, I used to sit at my old house. I used to sit in this one like room of the house where we had another entertainment center. I had a TV up there, and I would just watch all the Michael Bay Transformers movies. I watched first, second, third one. I saw the third one in theaters. That was the first Transformers movie I ever saw in theaters, and I loved it. And I thought after that movie was going to be over, but Paramount had to milk this thing and make Transformers: Age of Extinction and Transformers: The Last Night. And I'm not gonna lie, as a kid, those movies are pretty good. As an adult, those movies are freaking terrible,
Yeah.
absolutely awful. Like 17, and like I think like the Age of Extinction got like 17 Rotten Tomato score. I think Age of Extinction got worse. It was like 13 or 15. I'd have to look it up. But even the audience score was terrible. If it wasn't for China, then Transformers: Age of Extinction wouldn't have hit $1 billion. The Transformers: The Last Night just failed at the box office. I think it only got $500 million after their last two movies got $1 billion. So it's terrible. It was terrible. I'm gonna be real with you. I saw that like the day before my mom's birthday, and I was just disappointed. And every Transformers fan was disappointed. So, you know, at that point as a Transformers fan, you get the Bumblebee movie the year afterwards, but it was just like what's gonna happen because they had a Transformers cinematic universe like planned out after Transformers the Last Night, but it had to be canceled because Transformers the Last Night was just terrible. It was awful. Like I keep saying this, like it was that bad. And it was depressing. All I had for the last few years was like Marvel, all the Marvel movies like Endgame, Infinity War, and all that, which was good, just between, this movie and Transformers Rise and the Beasts. But it was depressing because Transformers was my first love in movies. Like truly. Like, oh, actually, I shouldn't say that. My first love in movies was probably like Cars as a kid. But
Yeah.
like my first like live action like love is Transformers. I loved it as a kid. And honestly, going to see Transformers Rise of the Beast, it made me feel like a kid again. I'm not gonna lie. Like I saw Transformers Age of Extinction the last night in theaters. It just felt like some wasted blockbuster movie that just had to be put out just to make money. But this movie felt like the director put time, effort, and care into this movie. Now, this movie isn't perfect. Like honestly, you could still view it as a big blockbuster, just cash cow or whatever. But honestly, to me, it just felt like the first movie all over again. It's just they added a whole bunch of nostalgic, elements like from the score to certain lines in the movie and the way certain things were shot. It was just perfect to me. Like the movie isn't perfect, but like the kid in me just I thought that was perfect.
Mhm.
Honestly, like I found myself like smiling the whole time. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't tell you this, but like there was a part where my eyes were even getting like watery because like they played the Arrival to Earth score at the end of the movie, and I love that score. I've loved that score ever since I was a kid. The Arrival to Earth. I don't know if you've heard of it, but like that's like the score they play when the Transformers arrive on Earth for the first time in 2007 movie, and to hear that again and in theaters, it just made me like so happy. It made me feel like a kid. Like I didn't think that movie was gonna make me watery eyed at all, but like that did right there, honestly. So I think that's the end of my story right there.
You know, it's crazy because I could see it. I could kind of see how excited you were. Just for the record, we both saw this movie together.
Yeah.
So I could see how excited you were. And, you know, that made me appreciate the movie even more. Just seeing, like a Transformer fan like you, finally being satisfied.
Mhm.
It's like almost 12 years, really.
Yep.
So I would have to say it was also satisfying for me to just see likable characters. It
Yeah.
seemed like I didn't really see the movies with Mark Wahlberg,
Mhm.
or
So
previous.
Shia LaBeouf.
I did see some of Shia LaBeouf, but
Mhm.
I will say, in the first Transformer movie, Shia LaBeouf was a cool character. He was pretty
Mhm.
likable. It was like he was just trying to make the best out of the situation that he was put in. But
Mhm.
it's like as the movies went on, they kind of just became just action, just like I said, just highly sexualized girl, everything like that.
Yeah. And
But
Shia LaBeouf's character became just kind of like, I like this character all like in the trilogy, but he started just become more of like, Scream, Optimus, whatever. It's just like that's he started to
exactly,
become that.
yeah, exactly that. And then they added Mark Wahlberg, and
Mhm.
honestly, it's just like Mark Wahlberg's characters are just all the same in his movies. They're just so
Mhm.
one dimensional and just like macho, and that's it.
Right.
But with this movie, we actually see a guy, who is struggling. He's
Right.
he's not in the best positions, and he has a little brother. I think he had sickle cell anemia that he's
Yeah.
trying to take care of. He's literally doing everything he can to, provide for his brother. And that motivates him,
Right.
you know. And so we see, his life is driven by that. He's trying to get a new job. He's just trying to make the best of his situation. He's very relatable and
Mhm.
likable way. And he gets put upon this situation, trying to steal a car, which happens
Mhm.
to Transformer, and then, I'm just, slide to the female character that we have. Do you remember her name, by the way?
Yeah, Lena.
Lena. You know, Lena was honestly, she was one of my favorite characters because she actually gave something to the movie.
Yeah.
She actually was a vital part in the movie. Like I mentioned twice, she wasn't just a highly over sexualized character like how we saw with Megan Fox, in the previous movies. She
Mhm.
just, I don't know, it's honestly just seemed like she was just there to be eye candy, you know.
Yeah.
But Lena, in this new Transformers movie, she's actually helping the team. She's actually the one that, allows them to work the technology that is used for them to fight the uh skirt.
Paracons.
Yeah, yeah.
Paracons, yeah.
Yeah, Furcons. And so I really enjoyed her character. I really enjoyed um Noah's character. And
Mhm.
I actually did enjoy a lot of the action scenes as well.
Mhm.
Feel like it was a surprise. It was honestly a surprise for me to see Bumblebee. I didn't
Yeah.
really watch too much trailers leading up to when we saw this in the theater, so I
Mhm.
was pleasantly surprised to see Bumblebee. And especially towards the end when he came back.
Yeah.
It's always a treat to see Optimus and when he's mad and when he's locked.
Yeah.
He's just creating carnage all around. And
Yeah.
and some of the other characters, like Mirage and RC,
Yeah.
I believe her name was.
Yeah.
So they were very cool and interesting to see too. I think
Mhm.
the battle choreography was very well done.
Mhm.
Very 2007-esque. When it
Yeah.
came to action, and
Mhm.
especially the last scene. That was one of
Mhm.
my. It gave me. I'm not gonna lie. It gave me Endgame vibes. Like with the portal,
Yeah.
everybody started coming in. It really gave me Endgame vibes. So, honestly, I really enjoyed this movie. As a person
Mhm.
who's not really a Transformers fan, I would definitely see it again.
Yep.
And I'll be excited when it comes. When it hits home. Television.
Mhm.
So, is there any other thoughts that you have about this
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah. I really enjoyed because when you think of Optimus Prime, you think of this stoic leader, this guy who's noble, who just very doesn't lose his calm very often, and a guy who really like has a heart for humans. But this movie did something different with him. It made him like he doesn't trust humans. He blamed Noah for the death of Bumblebee and Scourge getting the transwarp key. He blamed him for that, and it really wasn't Noah's fault. In fact, it was more of all of their faults. It's a contributed effort. The human characters did the best that they could. Noah and Elaine did the best that they could to get that key. And I mean, of course, they're gonna fail. This is their first time in any kind of Cybertronian warfare. So it's like I don't know what you expect them to do. So,
Mhm.
but Optimus really grew as a character of this movie for the first time in all the movies. You know, like they try to do something different in the last night to make him evil, you know, and then like come back as a hero. And it was like it just didn't work for me at all, you know. And it just like I said, the little arc that he went through was just perfect to me. Like, you know, like and the comparisons between Noah and Optimus Prime were just perfect. They were just guys who wanted to save their home, guys who put the weight of the world on their shoulders, big brothers who wanted to protect his, you know, his siblings, you know, like Helena mentions in the movie, you know. So to have them finally like come eye to eye at the end of the movie, it was satisfying. You know, when Noah gets the suit, you know, the like Mirage's, you know, spare parts. You know, when Mirage gets shot like by, a lot by not Unicron, by Scourge, you know, and then Optimus comes swoops in, is like, well, he's not alone. Them fighting together, I mean, that was awesome. Like, you know,
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg's character never did that. I mean, I guess Mark Wahlberg's character did have like a blaster in the movies and he fought, but like, I mean, Shia LaBeouf's, you know, character never got a suit and he only fought like once or twice in the movies, but like Noah was all for it, you know, like he really was all for it, you know, he wanted to save the world, you know, and both of them had their worlds in jeopardy of being destroyed. And at the end of the day, Optimus makes the sacrifice, you know, sacrificing his chance to go home to save Earth. And that's what Optimus is all about. You know, Optimus in the beginning of the movie, if he's put in the situation, let's be real, he wouldn't have cared about Earth. You know, he would have just said, let's go home. Who cares what happens here? This was our pit stop. This isn't our responsibility. But the trip to Peru, and they're talking with the Maximals, you know, Optimus Primal and all of them, really did seem to change Optimus's mindset. You know, especially like, you know, when they were in the hidden village, you know, with all the people, and then like, you know, you really got to see, you know, from Optimus Primal's views, you know, that humans are worth saving. Humans are here to treat us well, you know, if we treat them well, as you know. And that was my favorite part of the movie, was Optimus Prime's arc, you know. And it was nice to also see a different character lead as the fan favorite, you know, Mirage. You know, we've seen Bumblebee through five, 6 movies, you know, and they put him aside in this movie, you know, by killing him pretty much, and then bringing him back when it mattered, you know. But I like Mirage's character. You know, I thought I was on board with what you said after we watched, after we got done watching the movie. I thought he was just going to be a character who's like, all right, you're not going to say anything seriously. And he might just force like a whole bunch of jokes. But I thought he was really funny. He was really likable. And when it mattered, he really like stepped up, you know, as a character, and like, you know, fought the battles needed to be fought, you know. And I'm just really happy with Stephen Caple Jr.'s vision of this movie, you know. And I'm glad that they're in talks of bringing him back for the second movie. They're going to create a sequel to Rise of the Beast. You know, Bumblebee gave us hope, but this is now we're on a path after Rise of the Beast to just continue with this. You know, just continue with this until you get to the last movie, which is going to be versus Unicron, and that's going to be like, that's going to be insane. You
Yeah.
know, that in my opinion. And you know, I actually want to ask you a question before we do wrap this up and give our ratings. You know, with how well written, I don't want to say well written, but like how intimidating and how much Scourge got on your nerves. Like, are you excited to see what they're gonna do with Megatron? Because Megatron is Optimus's like arch nemesis after all.
You know, I remember I was telling you this in the movie theater and after we watched it. You know, Scourge was one of those villains where he was basically 100% of what they wanted him to, what they needed him to be. He was just that villain that was just so evil, he made you mad. You know,
Right.
he was the whole movie, I was just rooting on his downfall. I was
Yeah.
like, "Come on, Optimus, please, just do this, just do that." And it was satisfying to see, you know, when he finally got beat and
Mm.
how Optimus just destroyed him. I would just say that straight,
Yeah.
destroyed him. You know, so they were very intimidating. They were very
Mm.
intimidating. And it gives me hope, you know, how they'll write Megatron, you know. And
Mm.
I remember I asked you questions. You say that Megatron's a savage. Like
Yeah.
he's just crazy when it comes to power levels. And it honestly makes, you know, it always makes me excited to see, you know, because
Mm.
I feel like that's what also makes a movie, you know, great as well, is when the villain is just as capable and powerful as the protagonist. You
Right.
know, that's why, you know, movies like Black Panther were so telling, because the villain was just he made well, he was just as intimidating as Black Panther was, you know,
Right.
to his opponents, you know. And so coming back to Transformers, I'm very excited to see how they move forward, you know,
Me
when it
too.
comes to Megatron. And also, I just wanted to come back at you. with one last question. When comparing Noah, to
Mhm.
Mark Wahlberg's character, I believe his last name is Yeager. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
Kate Yeager, Kate
Kate,
Yeager. Yeah,
Kate Yeager, and then you have Sam
we
Whittington,
we no Sam Witwicky.
Sam
It's a
Witwicky.
stupid last name, but
Okay.
it's in the cartoons I think too. So
Yeah, I was close. I was kind of close, but just those three characters. What are some similarities that you might have seen between them, and what are some things that you like more about, let's just say Noah compared to Cade Yeager, or just
mm.
general, what are some things that you like more about one character compared to the other?
Well, Cade had more of a bond with Optimus than Sam did. Sam had his bond with Bumblebee. And Cade, I mean, Noah was kind of the best of both worlds, where he had a bond with a Mirage, but you can tell he also really bonded with Optimus Prime. Sam bonded with Optimus Prime as well, considering Sam spent a whole movie trying to save his life, when Optimus died in Revenge of the Fallen. But, Sam was always linked to Bumblebee, because that was his car, that was his guardian, so, you know, it was like the comparisons are, they had their guardian, but then they also had the big man. They had Optimus, as meaning, Noah and Cade. That's their similarities where they had, their relationship with Optimus, and Noah and Sam had their relationships with their guardian, which was Noah's was Mirage, and Sam's was Bumblebee. And what was your second question after that, by the way?
I was just, saying like, what are things that maybe one character did better than the other,
Oh,
or just in
for me, I didn't really like Kate Yeager's character, Mark Wahlberg's character, I should say, because like he just came across as just kind of jerkish, he's just like overly sarcastic, he came across as a jerk, and they tried to make him this likable guy, who lost his wife, who has a daughter he's trying to raise, but like the protecting like her from like boys and all that stuff like just went over the top, and but I mean I will admit that the way they wrote his daughter's boyfriend's character was just kind of, how do I say this? Kind of pedophilish, I guess. That's all I can really go into it, and I'm not really going to go into because it's kind of gross. But like, so I understand him as like maybe as like as the father figure stepping up, like why are you dating my daughter? But like maybe someone her age, like why is it like too much of a problem, you know? But anyway, that's not. I don't want to like fully want to get into that, but but Sam's character was likable in the first one, but then just kind of became like the screech owl, and then like in the last two, who just screamed all the time and kind of just got on my nerves. I liked his character as a kid, but like as I've grown up, I just kind of just it's just kind of for me. I
Yeah.
thought I didn't think Shy is a pretty good actor. It's just like in those movies, he just screamed too much. That was my problem. He's always sweaty. Like he's sweaty and like he's screaming all the time. But for
Mhm.
Noah's character, you saw his struggles. You saw where his upbringing and all that stuff, and he just was a likable guy. There was really no reason not to root for him. He was just a likable guy. He wasn't overly sarcastic. He didn't scream all the time. He was ready to fight. And that's more than either of those two characters can really say, in my opinion. And just he was a well written character. Along with Elena as well. So like Elena wasn't just some eye candy that was there. She was there to serve the purpose, like how you said. And she was smart. She was she got the job done at the end of the movie, and then Noah's character had a lot of heart. He had a lot of passion, and like I said, he was there to fight. So I really appreciate the way they rate these characters, and they didn't take away anything from the Transformers themselves. They added a lot to the story, and they just weren't a hindrance. They didn't try to force themselves into the situation like how it felt like Sam's character did, or even Cade's character did. So it's like they were served a purpose to help the Autobots take down the Maximals. I mean, not the Terracons at the end of the movie.
And I also like to mention it did seem like Shia LaBeouf's character was like kind of always like so scared all the time. Like I
Yeah,
understand why you'd be scared, but it was
right.
just like, you know, you are working with Transformers, like I feel like you should at least feel some type of some type of security,
Right,
just bravery from that. You get what I'm saying?
right,
And that was refreshing. And it was just kind of crazy to see like, Noah, who wasn't even like he didn't even really have any type the level of experience that Sam had with Transformers, and he's already like I want to save my planet. I
Right.
think I want to take this upon me, to do this, you
Hmm.
know. And so it was just kind of refreshing to see that, just
Right.
a character that took initiative and he didn't
Right.
even really know what he was doing.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's time to get to our casual score rating. So I'll start with you. What do you give this?
Honestly, you know, I would say as a Transformers fan, this is like an eight and a half, 9. But as like an average moviegoer, it's like I would say it's still like around an 8. Like it's not a bad movie. I truly believe that. Maybe it's like an average moviegoer, you maybe give it like a 7.5 or whatever. But like, there's just too much Transformers, passion inside of me. Just give it something that low. It feels like that's lowballing. I think it's a good 8, 8.5. I wouldn't really go out on the 9s. I think that's doing a little bit too much. But like 8, 8.5, I think is the perfect rating for it. This movie, like I said, a lot of heart, a lot of action, and it sets up more than people maybe could imagine, in my opinion. So I'm really excited for the future for the first time in a while.
Mhm. And also, I'm kind of in the same ballpark. I would give it a 7.8.
Mm,
I really enjoyed this movie. This 7.8, it's not a low ball 7.8. It's not a pitiful 7.8.
mm,
It's a solid 7.8. This movie is a solid movie. And I feel like it rejuvenates the Transformers franchise a lot.
right,
Like it'll make people excited, and kids to see
right,
Transformers again. And so like I said, I'm very excited to see, and obviously towards the end of the movie, we got a G.I. Joe, type of, I don't know if it's gonna be a crossover or like snippet.
right.
That was cool to see. So, I give this a 7.8. And I yeah, it's just a solid all around movie,
Yep.
so is there any last thoughts that you have?
Um, None really popping up right now. No, just go support the movie, please. And Paramount needs to see that this movie's going to do well.
Yeah, yeah, go support the movie. And I also like to say go check out Stephen Carell Jr. I mean, he's
Yeah.
a really good director. He directed Creed 2. He's directed a couple other good projects. He's a good director, you know.
Right. I'd love to. I'd love to talk to him about Transformers. I'm not gonna lie. I want to know what he has up his sleeve in the next few movies.
Hey,
Because I feel like if he gets Megatron right, because Michael Bay got Megatron right in the first movie, but Megatron was a waste in the next four. Terrible. He was terrible. He was always getting his ass beat. And like I don't know. Like in the first movie, he was a menace. He was there to fight and kill Optimus. Be real. But like in the other movie, he just was lame.
yeah, yeah. Hey, Steven, come on here, talk to us.
Right, exactly.
No, but so we're gonna wrap it up now. This is TJ and Jared, we're Casual Cinema. Stay tuned. We should be doing a Flash review, very soon. I think that would be a decent movie for us both to watch and give our reviews on. But yeah, this is TJ and Jared from Casual Cinema. Make sure to, I wouldn't say like and subscribe. Well, yes, like and subscribe. We're
I'll say,
still
yeah, please do that.
my bad, but we're still working on our social media accounts. So, just stay tuned for that. And yeah, and we're out.
Right.